everyone, it's Maki here. There are a lot of captivating mass-produced mobile suits in the Gundam series, and while they might easily get destroyed by the protagonists in some scenes, there are also moments where they surprisingly shine. Among fans, there's often debate about which is the most powerful mass-produced mobile suit. What do you think? Is it the mass-produced Quay? The mass-produced Gundam Foggia 91 is also incredibly strong. The Jig series from Gundam 00 is quite formidable as well. Today, I'd like to introduce you to the powerful mass-produced mobile suit, the Serpent. It appears in Gundam Wing Endless Waltz. This mobile suit is capable of wielding a wide array of powerful weapons. The mass-produced mobile suits featured in Gundam Wing are each named after one of the zodiac constellations. Serpent is inspired by the constellation Ophiuchus. Let's delve into the secrets of the Serpent together this time. Let's go back in time to an era before mechas armed uprising. The Earth Federation, a massive organization, relied on its internal division quotas for the development and management of mobile suits. Because the Rockefeller Foundation, a financially powerful organization, stood behind us, the Earth Federation could not effectively counter Oz's actions. The deployment of the new mobile suits, Ares, was particularly conspicuous, with us operating them in an almost monopolistic manner. Eventually, the Rockefeller Foundation would gain almost complete control over us, and even push forward with the development and deployment of powerful unmanned weapons called mobile dolls. To counter these developments, the Earth-Sphere Unified Nation initiated the development of new mobile suits based on their masterpiece, the Leo. The result was the Serpent. However, before it could be deployed in combat, the Earth-Sphere Unified Nation's forces essentially disintegrated, so the Serpent never made it to the historical stage. It was then that a man named Dekim Borden took interest in the shelved Serpent project. He would later establish an army led by Mecha Castle based on the Serpent. He completed mobile suits enhanced with newly developed neo-titanium alloy and powerful armaments. In the real world, the plastic model was sold under the name Serpent Custom. Various opinions exist about the term custom. Some think it was added for commercial reasons to create a unified branding with other Gundams that had custom added to their names. However, considering what we've just discussed, it's not absurd to think that the Serpent Custom was born as a result of Dekim Barton and his team customizing the original Serpent. When it was under development by the Earth-Sphere Unified Nation, it was designated as OS-17MS, and when deployed by Mecha's forces, it was designated as MMS-1. One point worth noting is the new material, introduced neo-titanium alloy. It's an extremely powerful metal. Opinions on its strength vary. In the novel version, it's described as a synthetic metal, developed by the Rockefeller Foundation's Weapons Development Department to compete with Gundam alloy. It has double the strength at half the weight of traditional titanium alloy, but costs over 10 times as much to produce. Other materials say it's a metal, as lightweight as Gundam alloy but with comparable hardness, while others even state it's lighter and more robust than Gundam alloy. Even finding a small amount of neo-titanium alloy is so significant that Lady Yin, the commander of the President's secret organization Preventers, would issue direct orders. Just its existence makes it an exceedingly dangerous material. Not only is the armor robust, But the Serpent's versatility and mobility are also terrifying. The parts can be used in both gravitational and zero-gravity environments without modification. Additionally, thanks to large thrusters and various other thrusters throughout the mobile suit, it can fly at high speeds, hover while using powerful weapons, and even move quickly by hovering. The completed Serpent would be used by Dekim Barden to execute the real Operation Meteor. This plan involved dropping space colonies onto Earth, using the resulting chaos to dominate the world with powerful mobile suits due to the immense loss of life this operation would cause. The scientists who developed the Gundams interfered with the plan. In the TV anime, only the Gundams were sent to Earth, avoiding the colony drop. However, in Endless Waltz, this real Operation Meteor was prepared as humanity's worst ever Christmas gift. Alright, let's delve into the astounding weaponry equipped on the Serpent. Heavily armed mobile suits are irresistibly appealing, aren't they? First up, we have the shoulder-mounted 8-tube missile launcher. This weapon has been part of the Serpent's arsenal. Since its development by the Earth's United Forces, it was designed to counter the Virgo mobile dolls produced by the Rockefeller Foundation. The goal was to equip a potent, non-beam weapon capable of breaking through the prana dancer, which is a significant feature of the Virgo. Opinions vary on its power. Some say it can destroy a Leo-class mobile suit depending on where it hits, while others claim it can obliterate any standard mobile suit in a single shot. Given that this weapon was designed to counter the Virgo and demonstrated the ability to blast holes in colony walls in the story, it's safe to say its power is quite formidable. Next, let's focus on the double Gatling guns. These weapons are strikingly similar to those on the Gundam Heavy Sky. This resemblance is due to the involvement of the Barton Foundation in the development of the Heavy. These Gatling guns were not part of the Serpent's original design, but were added during the development project led by Dekim Barden. Most descriptions indicate their destructive power is on par with the Gatling guns used by Gundam Heavy Arms. Interestingly, it's unclear whether these are traditional bullet-firing weapons or beam weapons. In most of their video game appearances, they are depicted as firing metallic bullets. However, in a recently released official model kit for the Gundam Heavy Arms, the Gatling guns were described as beam weapons. In the Battle of the Endless Waltz, Heavy Arms is depicted ejecting a cartridge, suggesting that the Gatling gun may be a type-selecting system before soaring. In Serpent's depiction, there is no visual of spent shell casings being ejected from its Gatling gun. This could be a measure to reduce the production staff's workload. However, the Gatling gun used by Heavy Arms in the TV anime version was a beam Gatling. It's worth noting that the Barton Foundation was supporting the development of Heavy Arms at the time, so it wouldn't be odd if Serpent's weapon were a beam Gatling as well. How do you feel about this? Personally, I like the idea of a bullet-firing Gatling gun, but if they have data on a powerful beam-type weapon, it wouldn't be strange to adopt that as well. Next is the solid shell bazooka. This is the most powerful conventional weapon used by the Serpent. It was planned to be part of its arsenal since its initial design by the Earth's United Forces. Some sources describe it as a weapon intended for rear support, unlike the beam cannon, which we'll discuss next, or the Gatling gun, which is often used while on the move. The bazooka is typically used when the mobile suit is stationary, indicating its substantial weight. And we can't forget the potent beam cannon. This weapon is said to be stronger than the beam cannons used by the Taurus or Virgo. It's described as the most powerful among mass-produced beam weapons of its time, developed by the Barton Foundation, who had acquired data from the bait. Some sources also attribute its technology to the mega cannon of the Talkie-3. The Talkie-3, a mobile suit secretly stored by the Preventers, was developed around the same time as the Talkie-2. If the Barton Foundation had acquired the data at that time, it would not be out of the question. The circular component behind the cannon barrel is a dedicated generator, similar to that of the Talkie-3's mega cannon. Given that both weapons incorporated data from the bait, it's reasonable to assume that both the Talkie-3 and bait technologies are reflected in this beam cannon. So, those are the main armaments. However, according to the instruction manual of the model kit, other weapons like beam guns and machine guns were also developed. Considering it's an official mass-produced weapon of the Earth's United Forces, it wouldn't be surprising if it could also use weapons employed by mobile suits like Leo. In various game appearances, it's often shown wielding a beam saber. While no scenes in Endless Worlds depict its use, it wouldn't be strange for it to be compatible, given the overall design philosophy of the mobile suit. Let's take a look at the exploits of Serpent. The 13th constellation. First up is the showdown between Duo, who infiltrated Serpent's manufacturing base, and the Leo he pilots. Troll, the pirate of Gundam Hebiums, appears before Duo as an enemy. Observing how the Serpent, piloted by Troll, engages in combat, Duo instantly recognizes that Troll is the one behind the controls there's often debate over. Why Duo was able to disarm this, especially since Serpent is shown firing its weapon while standing upright. The reason often cited is that the firing stance is the same as that of Gundam Hebiums, a detail emphasized in the series. Let's also observe Duo's actions. Initially, he blocks the Gatling gun's fire with his Leo's shoulder armor, but quickly takes evasive action and finds cover. Leo is a mech that balances armor thickness with mobility, so an experienced pilot can effectively defend by letting the armor absorb enemy attacks. However, against a skilled opponent who targets the weak points in the armor, that advantage becomes a vulnerability. There are few pilots capable of making the precise and incredible shots that force the pilot Duo to see cover. So it's not unreasonable to think Duo deduced it was Troll based on the style of weapon usage alone. The fight ended in Troll's favor, mainly due to the differences in their mech's capabilities. However, Troll was infiltrating the mecha army at the time, so he wasn't entirely hostile towards Duo. His final missile only destroyed the wall behind Rio, allowing Duo to escape the colony. Serpents prepare to descend to Earth in line with the mecha army. Surprising, the Ghost of Treats, designed by the former Earth Federation forces, threatens to bear its fangs upon Earth. Then Talkie-3 rapidly approaches, designed for treats. Talkie-3 emerges to take down these ghosts, armed for atmospheric entry. The Serpents are unable to counterattack and are taken out. However, Talkie-3 is immobilized by Dechem, who threatens to drop a colony onto Earth. Thus, the Serpents make their descent to Earth. As Serpents fall from the sky alongside the snow on Christmas, the people brace themselves for a new era of warfare. Now, onto the final battle. The Serpents overwhelm Talkie-3 and Taurus through sheer numbers. An impressive scene involves veteran pilots taking hits from the Serpent's concentrated fire. While their weapons are powerful, achieving this kind of result requires proper operation. This is a scene where you can understand that the piloting skills of the pilots of the Marine Army are by no means inferior. Even when launching high-powered beam cannons, the Serpents maintain formations to sustain rapid fire. In scenes featuring combat with Gundams, multiple Serpents are defeated at once. This not only implies they've been taken down, but also indicates a coordinated approach of challenging the formidable Gundams as a group. Nevertheless, the Gundams piloted by those of significantly higher skill inevitably prevail. Alone, Serpents would be taken down even more easily by the end. The Gundams lose their combat capabilities due to depleted energy, making it not entirely inaccurate to say the Serpents won from a strategic standpoint. The most beautiful moment for Serpent comes towards the end of the story. It's incredibly elegant. When the people saw Gundam, they voiced their opposition to the war. Confronted with the sight of people rising up without weapons, the Serpent learns the folly of war. My mechas soldiers voluntarily leave their cockpits, abandoning their mobile suits and weaponry. In doing so, the Serpent becomes an embodiment of Treat's patricious ideals. When people awaken to the desire for peace and lay down their arms, that's when weapons become the relics of a bygone era. What do you feel looking at the Serpent that has ceased operations, its cockpit empty? Perhaps it represents the glory of the defeated. That concludes our overview of the Serpent. The Serpent is introduced as being inspired by the 13th zodiac constellation, known as Orpheus, the Serpent Bearer. However, its actual motif comes from serpents, which is a part of the Orpheus constellation. A mobile suit corresponding to Orpheus appears in G-Unit, a spin-off of Gundam Wing, and it's known as Gundam Asclepius. The Gundam Asclepius employs weapons resembling snake tongues, while the Serpent utilizes potent ranged weaponry. They each utilize the snake motif in their unique ways. Lastly, here's a directive for you. The loyal soldier of Lady Marimisha Castration, you are too sorted to intercept the approaching Talkies Free and Taurus. Please choose your armaments based on what you've learned in this lecture and deploy accordingly. If you hit the subscription button, you'll be equipped with double Gatling guns. Pressing the like button will equip you with a beam cannon. Hitting the bell button will allow you to sortie with the bazooka. Let's deliver a Christmas present that will awaken the foolish, peace-adult populace to the dawn of a new era. Until we meet again in the next episode.